Good morning. I'm Claire Nullmeyer. It's May the 3rd, 2024, and on our continuing project of the History Project for Tempe First United Methodist Church, today I get to talk to Don Dotz. And Don has been with us for quite some time, and I'm just going to start. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. Good to see you.
It's nice to see you too. Our first question is really the first time that you came to Tempe First. Do you have a recollection of that?
Well, it was 60 years ago. It's hard to remember exactly who I saw or what was happening. But my wife and I had married in 1958 at Central Methodist, which we just learned is closing.
Yes.
But she was a Phoenix gal. And we lived in Mesa for a while, and I continued my membership with Mesa United Methodist, Mesa Methodist Church at the time. About 6 years later, we moved to Tempe, and we moved our membership to Tempe First, and that was about 60 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember the very first day, but I do remember seeing some great people and being glad we were here.
Any of them still here?
Gosh, I can't think of any right
Joe
now.
Spracali, maybe?
Oh, it's Joe Spracali, of course.
Yeah, we're going to hope to talk to him in a little bit.
Good. Yeah.
And when you came as a family?
Yes. Well, Annis and I joined, and then our children came along a little bit later. Each of them was raised in this church. Our son David and our daughter Debbie.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, they both were married in this church.
Oh, no, there's some nice
Their
family
weddings
history.
were held here.
Baptisms? Confirmations?
Yes, all of that,
Uh-huh.
yes. So over 60 years, we've been involved a great deal.
Right. Is there any place on this campus that especially speaks to you? Is there a place that you have a fondest memory of?
I think probably not one place, but of course the sanctuary, and we saw it remodeled during that time. Used to have big glass squares, and that was changed. I don't know when, but it did happen.
We have pictures.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
But the sanctuary probably would be the place.
Uh-huh. And some of the other hats that you've worn while you've been here?
Well, we have been, I've been involved on the church council. My term just ended about a half a year ago. But I'm on the church foundation board, and I chair their scholarship program, which benefits students wherever they go, college students who are members here or come here, either to Wesley or to the church itself. So I'm on the foundation board, and then been in the church choir for a long time, and I really enjoy that. And then we have the Fort Apache Mission. I'd like to say a word or two about that.
I would hope that you would, yes. I've enjoyed my time at the mission.
Yeah. Shall I go ahead with that?
Please do.
Well, I think about 12 years ago, my daughter called me. She lives in Alexandria, Virginia. And she said, "Hey, Dad, I just learned that our church here in Alexandria, Methodist Church, is going to do a mission on the Fort Apache Reservation in Arizona. Do you think the Tempe Church would like to join us?" I said, "We'll see." And of course we did. Mm-hmm. And so now, actually this year, about 20 Virginians are coming out, and we'll have about 8 or 9 Tempe people joining them. And so we go to the Apache Reservation up near Pine Top and work with the tribal leadership and do great things with them.
I have been up a few times myself on the mission, and my first experience when I went up and I camped in my tent out by the creek and had a bear walk through.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of an interesting experience.
You bet.
And I have enjoyed each time I've been up.
It's a great program.
It really is. This year, I got some information that you're going to have Airbnbs, people have places to stay up there.
Yes, in Pine Top.
Right. What are some of the projects? Have you been given any heads up?
We'll be continuing work on their farm, which we help them expand, and now they're able to grow vegetables and sell them to make money for the tribe. And I think we'll be doing more work on the farm. And we used to do programs with reservation children. I'm not sure what we're going to do this year, but it isn't all hard physical labor, I keep telling our ladies, but we'll be doing gardening as well, and a lot of our people get involved in the gardening.
Since we're talking about it, can I share two of mine?
Sure.
My stories?
Yeah.
Other than tent camping up there?
Yeah.
We were building soil for the garden in McNary, and we were going to do hoop houses for covering because it gets hot up there. And a lady from the Apache tribe was there, and she said, well, it would be easier if we got the material and we sewed it and put it over the hoops. She goes, I have a sewing machine at my house. You want to go? So she and I walked over to her house, and we set up her sewing machine, and we sewed those together, and she made me iced tea, and her son came in, they had a fight, and then we took all the stuff back out, and a year later I went back, and those covers were still there and in use, and they had the kids come over and harvest the food that was growing out there. There was squash, lots of different things. That was a wonderful memory.
You bet. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do have interaction with the people.
Well, now I'm sorry to say that McNary Garden isn't being used anymore.
It isn't.
It's closed. But of course, they've opened the big vegetable farm.
The People's Farm.
Near there.
I went out shopping out there a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They have quite a lovely little store.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so I'd like to hear a little bit more, if you wouldn't mind, about the scholarships that you have through the foundation. That's Tempe First Foundation.
Tempe First Foundation, and the Conference Foundation invests our funds under our foundation name, and the earnings from a portion of those each year we pull in and use for scholarships. We also do the same for the mission, Fort Apache Mission. We get earnings from the foundation. But the scholarships are very important to us, and we help students. They could be students in the Midwest who belong here. Most of them, of course, are ASU students.
Right.
But some at NAU or U of A, and it used to be a $1,000 scholarship to about 8 or 10 students each year. I think last year that was changed to go a little more with their needs, from say 500 to 1,500 even, depending on what their needs were. But we help at least 10 students each year with scholarship money.
And that I am very proud of.
Me too.
One time on finance, we ended up with a check, and it turns out one of your scholarship recipients decided that that meant so much to them, they wanted to make it available again.
Oh,
they
my.
paid it back.
That's great. Isn't that good?
I thought so.
Yeah.
So, what do you see as the future of the church? We've had some meetings, and do you have any thoughts on that?
I do.
Because you talked
Definitely.
about Central having to
and other churches we know are going down in attendance and membership. There's some concern here. We've gone down too, but we are planning to emphasize university affiliation even more, I understand, which is fine with me.
I would think so.
Having spent 42 years of my professional life as an administrator at ASU. But so I'm glad we're going to keep emphasizing that, bringing in hopefully more Wesley students, more students in general. I know we're concerned about decreasing attendance, but we have to recall, and I'm not sure we're making a big thing of this, but I recall that there are going to be two very big apartment buildings built right across from us on University. One is called a luxury apartment building. Therefore I don't think aimed right at students.
Mm-hmm.
So my hope is that in those two new buildings, right near our church campus, there will be quite a few churchgoers. And we're, I think, the last remaining church in downtown Tempe. Well, except for the Catholics, of course, nearby. But
I don't think they hold church service anymore
Oh,
over at the Newman Center.
they don't, okay.
I don't know that for sure.
Well, I'm hoping that will bring us some new people, and then we'll reach out to the university even more. So my plan is for this church to keep going for another 60 years or
I
more.
think that's mine too.
That's what I hope.
I would vote for that one. Is there anything that over the time that you've been here that has pulled your heartstring more than anything else?
Oh gosh. I would say probably just keeping up with longtime members, people I've known forever.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'm getting up in years, and some of my contemporaries we're losing now, they're passing away. And each time that happens, it's pretty tough on me, having been here and been a part of this church for so long.
It's your family.
You bet.
It is.
Yeah, very much.
On the work that you have done with the church, is there any committee or is there any place now? I understand you probably are not looking for a new job.
No.
Is there any that you wanted to do at any time that you didn't get to do?
I don't think so. I mentioned I've been in the choir, and I really appreciate that. I like our music ministry so much. We've been very fortunate to have that good music program. So I'm continue my participation in the church choir.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I mentioned the mission and the foundation, both important to me. I'm going to stay involved with them.
Mm-hmm.
Hope to expand our scholarship program even more through the foundation's efforts.
We have the funds. We can do it.
You bet.
Now, this is only funded once a year?
Yes.
And how do they just have an application process?
We do.
On the website?
We'll be announcing it soon, and
Okay.
we usually give a deadline of June something,
Mm-hmm.
and then we meet and usually choose everybody, because anyone who applies is
Mm-hmm.
usually well qualified. But we make our final decision and announce it toward the end of June, and they get their checks before school starts in August.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very important program to me, especially because we're here on the university campus,
Yes.
and it serves people who I think are so deserving, and we invest in their future.
I love when we have fellowship after church.
Yes.
And the young people come in and they do sit at, all at their own table.
They do, yeah.
But I had a chance to meet a couple of the young ladies, whether they were scholarship recipients this last year or not.
Mhm.
It was Zoe and Grace.
Oh, yeah.
And both of them said, Zoe's on her way back to East Africa,
Mm-hmm.
and Grace goes to Kansas.
Hmm.
And but they both said, see you next year. So
Yeah.
I was
Well-
glad to meet them on their way out, and we'll be happy to greet them when they come back.
I've been really pleased that this year people who have indicated they're going on the mission. 3 of them are members of the Wesley Foundation.
Terrific.
So we're getting college students involved in that important program as well.
Well,
So it's very encouraging to me.
some of them come from areas that might resemble the reservation.
That's true.
You were talking about the hard work. I talked about some of the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But I wanted to share this one too. When I went up a couple of years ago, this was later in the summer, I visited my daughter up there, and I just happened to be over that direction.
Mhm.
And I drove in to behind where we used to work in the farm, which, because of its nature of being organic and all of that, we had some restrictions. So I waited until I saw some people come out. When I went the first time, they had to take a pickup truck down to the river about 1.5 miles away and load up those great big tanks and bring the water back to hand water all the plants.
Oh, yeah.
When I went the last time, there were kids out there with hoses having a water fight because Tempe first built a pump house for them.
Good point.
And the water is now pumped up there to where they don't have to do that. They can
Great to remember.
waste it if they want to.
That's right.
So,
That's great.
is there anything else that you had thought of when I'd asked you for this conversation that you wanted to
I
share?
can't think of anything. Of course, I mentioned my son and daughter growing up in the church, and that was very important to me. And my daughter lives in Alexandria, Virginia now, and she's belongs to a United Methodist church there.
And her kids are very
And
active.
her kids are there,
Mhm.
very
I've
active.
I've met them
Right.
a number of times.
And then my son lives here in the valley, but he's in Ahwatukee,
Mhm.
and so they go to church there. But occasionally my son comes back here with me.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
That handsome man sits with
Yeah,
you.
so I'm very proud of both of them and my families.
Yes.
They're great.
Well, I'm going to be looking forward to seeing Debbie and her family. Steve, I don't know which of the kids are coming.
The youngest daughter is
Uh-huh.
coming with them this year.
Good.
Yeah,
It's
Yep.
always good to see the young kids up there.
you bet. Sure is.
I thank you very much. If we can think of anything else, I don't know.
I think I'm good.
Okay, very
All right.
fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
All right.